A lot of gacha games are coming in 2024, many of which you probably don't even realize are already in test phases and close to their launch. I bet most of these games you aren't even aware exists, but that's what Papa Stix is here for. Don't worry, Papa Stix won't let bad gacha releases hurt you anymore. I've compiled a list of upcoming games on my website, my Gacha Hub. This is a website that you should be visiting every day, or at the very least every week, as I continue to update it regularly with new gacha announcements. And today I'm going to walk you through everything releasing that we can look forward to that might get you as excited as Yinlin and Chongli get me in Wuthering Waves. If you're interested in pre-registering for any of these, participating in any of the beta tests, I have links to all of them down below. Now let's jump in. Abyss Knights is an RPG game where players take on the role of Atal, a young knight who is betrayed by her country. Combat is complete action. You cycle through numerous abilities, with every character having their own distinct set of skills and combat styles. The game provides a top-down isometric perspective and reminds me very strongly of Lost Ark. Abyss Knights also looks to have a segregated world, with every zone allowing complete freedom to explore. The Axis of Eternity is an open-world action anime RPG from Tianshu Studio, releasing cross-platform onto PC, Android, and iOS. It features a fast-paced action combat system with a diverse selection of characters, weapons, and elements. It's set in a high fantasy world as a decent anime aesthetic, is bright, is vibrant. It's essentially Genshin Impact. AZUR PROMILIA is an open-world action anime RPG from Manju, the developers of the very popular free-to-play friendly AZUR Lane, releasing cross-platform onto PC, PS5, Android, and iOS. AZUR PROMILIA features a fast, fluid action combat system with the option of swapping between 3 different characters, each with their own unique pets, with their own distinct elemental affinities. There's a functional farming system present as well. There is full flight, there are going to be functional mounts and more, making AZUR PROMILIA one of the most innovative new upcoming gacha games in the making. Black Beacon is an action RPG, however the game seems to utilize a top-down isometric perspective, which admittedly not everyone tends to enjoy. This doesn't seem as though it has inhibited the combat in any capacity, though, as the game does look very fast and feels very fluid. It has a dark anime aesthetic, feeling much gloomier than its vibrant counterparts. It is also already in the process of holding test phases, meaning that it is far enough through the development process that they're willing to let players in-game to play. Chaos Zero Nightmare is a cosmic loop RPG set in a post-apocalyptic world where the only survivors are forced to flee Earth due to the Chaos Zero project. This is confirmed to be releasing onto PC, Android, and iOS. Gameplay will be an amalgamation of roguelike, turn-based combat, grid-based movement, along with a permanent death feature. It's unconfirmed at present how this will function or what it really means. Code SEIGETSU is an action game where players will engage in fast, fluid action combat, combining both ground and aerial abilities rendered in full 3-dimensional design. Judging by the gameplay that we saw, this doesn't seem to feature an instance world. Rather, players will freely navigate the world, exploring and engaging enemies at their leisure. Players can also play cooperatively with friends, with full PC and mobile crossplay functionality confirmed. Before we go any further through this list, allow me to take a moment here to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members for allowing me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support. Now let's keep going. We got a lot to cover. Crystal of ATLAN is an action MMO. Features full action combat, no tab target. There are going to be functional dungeons, functional raids, which are all multiplayer. The game will feature a number of different classes. It features a segregated world. Crystal of ATLAN is also cross-platform compatible between PC and mobile platforms. DEMIS Reborn is an RPG set within the world of Netmarble's Grand Cross universe. In this game, players will assume the role of connectors, individuals with special abilities who come across transcendence. Together, players and their heroes will embark on missions that reveal a deep, rich storyline. Demis Reborn offers players a visually stunning experience with its well-designed transcendence and captivating 3D graphics, allowing players to traverse a world in full 3D with tactical gameplay, NPC interaction, and characters reinterpreted from real history. Netmarble have also confirmed that Demis Reborn is currently in development for PC, iOS, and Android, and I know that to you sounds like I'm trying to sell a game like it is one big advertisement, but that's pretty much all the information we have on this game. Duet Night Abyss is a fantasy adventure RPG that I actually got to play a lot of during its previous test phase. With an enormously open, free, explorable world, features a deep, rich narrative. There is fast, Fully functional action combat present, allowing for multiple different weapon loadouts. Players will seamlessly swap between both ranged and melee weapons, and this has arguably the best third-person shooter combat in a gacha game right now, allowing you to play in an entirely new way, breaking free of traditional limitations that have been imposed by action gacha games. Combat was very fast, was very fluid. You'll engage enemies on the ground, you'll take to the air to unleash massive barrages, you can fly, you can climb, you can slide, you can double jump. There are a very large number of movement techniques that allow for a whole new level of exploration. DUET Night Abyss will be releasing globally onto PC and mobile. ELPISOUL is a semi-real-time tactical development RPG where the player takes control of an expedition team fighting against the devil. Yeah! It seems as though the game is a horizontal, side-scrolling idle RPG from the gameplay that I've seen, yet labels itself as a tactical RPG. The goal of the game was to provide players a JRPG-like experience with a deep narrative, turn-based combat system, and cute chibi graphical style. ETHERIA Restart is an RPG set in a neo-contemporary virtual city. It is both developed and published by XD, and is confirmed to releasing onto PC, Android, and iOS. You'll engage in turn-based combat and attempt to save the world, as you always do. Heaven Hells is the latest game from Clover Games, and has very little information concerning its combat type, its graphical style, or even the type of world. The only information that we have at present is a small excerpt from the official website for Clover Games, and that is that in a world where countless trials and adversities exist, your choices determine your present and your future, and decides all fates. A beautiful yet cruel world awaits you. Yeah, vague. I know. JIUJI QIFENG Journey is a Chinese-themed fantasy game with striking resemblances to Genshin Impact. It is confirmed that there will be numerous factions present in-game, each with their own unique aesthetic and focus. The world will be completely open, giving you the freedom to explore anywhere you want at your own pace. A combat style hasn't been fully confirmed yet, but they do state that players will use knowledge and strategy to determine the outcome of battles, with diverse cards and rich tactics. Mist Sequence is a futuristic retro fantasy real-time strategy RPG that could potentially rival the likes of Arknights or Path to Nowhere. It'll feature real-time combat. Both enemies and player-controlled units will move across a grid-based field in real time. The narrative will be told in both 2D and real-time 3D, with 2D models being vertical hand-drawn and 3D allowing for the ability to create beautifully crafted cutscenes. NORNIUM is perhaps one of the most degenerate upcoming gacha games that I've ever seen. I've literally repeatedly labeled this game as Hornium. This is a sci-fi game. You utilize what are considered to be droids, and you engage enemies in aerial combat. While the combat takes place completely in the air, it also seems to utilize an action combat system. You can freely aim, you can miss enemies with abilities. NORNIUM is also confirmed to be releasing fully cross-platform onto both PC and mobile devices. Project Crescent is a unique upcoming South Korean RPG. It is unknown at present what style of combat it'll utilize. From the single trailer release, it seems like encounters will be turn-based, but comments online are claiming that action combat, so we're kind of gonna have to wait and see. Resonant Solstice is a unique game where players take on the role of a conductor. You drive a train, you engage in battles against enemies. Combat takes the form of a real-time card system with hundreds of different cards and thousands of different card combinations. All characters feature full live 2D animations. You can travel between different cities, each with their own distinct aesthetic look and feel. Returning Dragon Tides is a third-person action game that utilizes an interesting type of horizontal progression and exploration, allowing players to freely explore large cities and areas from a perspective very few gacha games seem to employ. It features a 3D cel-shaded anime aesthetic, full action combat, a segregated world with large areas to explore where players take on the role of a movie director. Yeah, there's a first time for everything. Unending Dawn is an anime RPG with fantastic character models, a dark, grim open world, enormous boss battles. This is Genshin Impact if Genshin Impact got invaded by monsters from Dark Souls. Essentially, an anime Elden Ring. This looks violent, this looks impactful. Unending Dawn is an open world RPG. We know it's going to feature gacha elements. We know it's going to be developed utilizing Unreal Engine 5. Unending Dawn will also be releasing cross-platform onto PC, Android, and iOS. WANG is an upcoming open world action RPG. It is set in an imaginary Chinese-styled world. WANG is confirmed to be releasing fully cross-platform onto both PC and mobile, with console platform functionality coming in the future. one of the few rare gacha games that are going to be cross-platform compatible. The world is fully open, allowing players to explore at their own pace. The world is also populated by AI-generated NPCs, allowing every single person playing to have a different experience. There are functional vehicles present, allowing players to not only drive, but to build their mounts from scratch. White Noise Survival is a brand new upcoming third-person action game that looks to challenge the titans of the action genre, Punishing Gray Raven and Honkai Impact 3rd. It features a 3D cel-shaded anime aesthetic, full action combat, a segregated world with mission and chapter-based progression, and ultimately looks and feels a lot like a cross between Aethergazer and Snowbreak. XUNJING The Realm is a fantasy-themed open-world adventure shooting game with a high degree of freedom. Players will control a single character during battle with the option of cycling through a grand total of 3 characters at any given time. Combat takes the form of a third-person shooter with grappling, dodging, and a variety of different weapons. And finally, ZENLESS Zone Zero is an upcoming urban fantasy action RPG featuring roguelike elements. Players take on the role of a proxy, aiding others in navigating the dangerous alternate realms known as hollows. Combat is very fast, it is very flashy, there are combos to utilize, character swapping. There's a town hub, but there is very little in terms of actual exploration present. It's also launching in the first week of July, so it's literally right around the corner. And that's it right now. Dozens of upcoming gacha games to get you dripping with excitement. You're welcome.